Oprah sat across from him, the lights, the cameras, the audience holding its breath, and then her words, sharp, cutting, almost mocking. She looked Jonathan Roumie in the eye and said, "Do you really believe all of that? In today's world? Isn't it just a little outdated?" The room went silent. You could feel the weight of it, laughter from some in the crowd, a smirk tugging at her lips. IT was live television. There was no escape. Jonathan didn't flinch. He didn't look away. He breathed in slow, steady, and when he finally spoke, it was the kind of response that would leave not only Oprah speechless, but everyone watching too. Because this wasn't just about faith, IT was about conviction. IT was about what a man chooses to stand for when the world dares him to sit down. Pause. This is that story. Jonathan Roumie was no stranger to the spotlight. The role of Jesus in The Chosen had made him a household name. Millions watched him, prayed with him, saw in him something sacred, but that fame came with a price. The higher he rose, the more the world wanted to test him. They'll pull him down. TOC if his faith was just an act. And on that stage across from Oprah, it was being tested like never before. "You're telling me," Oprah leaned forward, voice dripping with skepticism, "that you still live your life by a book written thousands of years ago? That you actually believe in miracles, in sin, in redemption?" Jonathan's lips parted. He could have argued. He could have gone defensive. He could have met mockery with anger. But he didn't. Instead, he smiled. "Oprah," he said softly, his voice carrying across the stunned crowd, "I don't just believe it, I live it. And the difference between belief and living is everything." The silence was deafening. You could almost hear hearts shifting, something about the way he said it, not combative, not defensive, but unshakable. The interview was supposed to rattle him. Instead, it revealed him. Because Oprah pressed harder. She asked about hypocrisy in the church. She asked about suffering. She even asked about cancel culture. And each time, Jonathan didn't dodge. He didn't sugarcoat. He answered with stories. Stories of people he'd met. People whose lives had been changed. Not because he was on a screen, but because faith had touched them in their darkest hours. A soldier who came home broken, a mother who had lost her child, a teenager on the brink of ending it all, and how each one found light. Jonathan's voice wavered only once, when he spoke of his own struggles, the nights he doubted, the nights he wondered if he was enough, the nights he prayed for answers and only found silence. And yet, he whispered, even silence is an answer. Even waiting can be holy. Oprah leaned back, her eyes narrowed, but the smirk was gone. For the first time, she had nothing to say. What happened that night spread like wildfire. Clips from the interview went viral. Millions watched Jonathan's calm defiance. Millions heard the quiet strength in his words. Some mocked him, others praised him. But everyone felt something. Because it wasn't just about a man defending his faith. IT was about what happens when truth and doubt collide on the world's biggest stage. When conviction stands in the fire and refuses to burn. And in the end, Oprah's question, meant to tear down, had only built him up. Jonathan left that studio not as an actor playing Jesus, but as a man who dared to live like him. And sometimes, that's what leaves the world truly speechless. Soft pause. So maybe the question isn't whether faith is outdated. Maybe the real question is, what happens to us when we choose to believe anyway? Because faith isn't fashionable. IT isn't easy. IT isn't safe. But when a man like Jonathan Roumie refuses to trade it for applause, he chooses to stand unshaken even when the world laughs. Suddenly, faith doesn't look outdated at all. IT looks alive. IT looks dangerous. IT looks unstoppable. And that is why Oprah mocked him, and why his response left her speechless.